Welcome back to the Rowdy Player One channel. I'm Rowdy, and today we are going to go over my top 10 authors that I have not yet read anything about. These are, we'll just say these are 10 authors that I have at least one book of that I am very interested in reading, and I just have not got a chance. But a lot of them are on the list to be read this coming up year. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right. I actually have, we'll say, I said 10. We're going to make it 11, or we can say after this first one, this can be an honorable mention. But we're going to go with the very first one, which is Dan Simmons' Hyperion. Now, I have not read anything about Dan Simmons. I've heard this book is incredible. Like one of the best fantasy books ever written. But I haven't heard the best reviews after all the other books after this. So basically kind of what I heard is read this one and then stop. So that's cool. I'd be more than happy just to read one. It's little over about 450 pages or so. Words are pretty small in there. I do love this floppy. So nice. But yeah, so we're going to go, one of the first ones, Dan Simmons' Hyperion. Now, if I can find somewhere to set all these. Then, we actually have a couple of indie authors in here as well, so I'll try to space them out a little. But after that, we are going to go with what I just picked up this week. It was Rob J. Hayes' God Eater. Try that again. Rob J. Hayes' God Eater. Rob J. Hayes' The God Eater Saga. There we go. I can't speak. It's amazing. I've heard all three of these books are really good, especially Harold, which is right back there. And then there's like 2 or 3 other series that I am super interested in checking out. Let's see, I think it's The Razor's Edge, maybe another one, which is like the first book of a few. But this right here, which most people probably do know, there's this one, Deathless, Harold, and Demon is the third one. These are the first books of a trilogy of trilogies. So that is a pretty cool way of thinking on how to write these books. I'm very, very interested on seeing how this goes, but I've heard great things about this. Rob seems like a really cool guy on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call. So yes, Rob J. Hayes on the list of top 10 I want to read. Then we are going to go with Larry McMurry, Lonesome Dove. I've heard this is good. Well, actually, I've heard this is probably the best Western ever written, basically. But it's like this one, and then I think he's got 2 or 3 other books in this series, but it's like the first and second one, I think, are the best ones, maybe. But this one is by far the best. So I will be definitely reading this, and potentially I'll probably get to Rob J. Hayes as well next year, but definitely Lonesome Dove's going to get done probably in January. I've got a buddy read. We're going to start, me and 3 other YouTubers with it. Trill's trying to figure out how we're going to go about doing that on the channels. But this right here, I'm so stoked to try this out. I've heard so many fantastic things about Larry McMurry and Lonesome Dove. So yeah, this one right here. Excellent, I'm sure. Then we're going to go back to an indie author for now. Ryan Cahill. I ended up getting all 6, which I know he's got one more novella and then one other book that comes out at the start, I think, of 2025 of this series. But I'm so ready to get to reading these books. Oh man, I've heard incredible things. And so this will definitely be started next year. I would love to be able to finish this next year. All 6 or what will be maybe 8 books. So we'll see what we're going to do. But Ryan Cahill, fantastic, fantastic author from what everybody that has read anything about these say. From there, let's get the obvious out of the way. JRR Tolkien's The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings. I've watched 6 movies of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings multiple times. And they're great. I love them. And they say the books might be better in some aspects. A little bit more apparently talking about grass and stuff and the trees. But we'll see. I am interested in getting this read at some point. I don't know when. I was going to try to read it in November, but obviously that's not happening because the Cosmere's taking a hold and it's got to be finished before December 6th. So J.R.R. Tolkien is on the list of an author I've not read, and I am excited to check it out at some point. Then we will go to Fonda Lee's Jade City or the Greenbone Saga. I've not read any of these books. I've not read anything from Fonda Lee, but she is, by what I understand, absolutely killed it with this trilogy. So I'm very excited about checking this out. And the Broken Binding books look incredible. I would love to get a hold of those. They are so nice. But I've heard unbelievable things on this series, and I am very excited to give this a shot. It's nearly 500 pages for this first book, so hopefully I can get to this next year. I'm definitely planning on it, but we will see, because if it's as good as everyone says, oh, I can't wait. Can't wait. After that, we are going to go with The Sword of Kagan, M.L. Wong. I have not read any of her stuff, but this, basically everything I've been told, let's get that camera, there we go, is pretty much a masterpiece. Fantastic. I backed the Kickstarter for, was it Wraithmark Creative, for the special edition of The Sword of Kagan and Rob J. Hayes's Never Die, I think. And they both look amazing. So obviously I want to read Rob J. Hayes' other book that I will be getting in at some point next year. But M.L. Wong, I've heard so many fantastic things about this book. So I know it's going to be good. It's just, can I find the time to get it read? I'd like to read it before I get that special edition next year. So hopefully I will be able to do that. So this is going to be great. Then we will go with the Queen of Fantasy herself, Robin Hobb. This is obviously the Royal or the Assassin's Apprentice, the first book in the Farseer trilogy. I have the whole trilogy over there, and I definitely plan on giving this a shot. I've heard it's kind of slow paced, so maybe this is definitely a winter type read. John from Talking Story absolutely loves Robin Hobb and this first trilogy, the Farseer trilogy. So if he likes it that much, I've got to be on board with it, because there's really nothing that I've heard him talk as highly of as this trilogy right here. So Robin Hobb is definitely on the list. So hopefully I can get this started next year and start knocking out hers. If I do end up liking it, what is it? It's like, is it 14 books in this one big expanded, I guess you'd say, universe? It's like 3 trilogies or 4 trilogies, and then a quartet or something. I forgot what it is, but I know it's a bunch of books. But they say this one is really, really good. So good place to start. So yeah, Robin Hobb. After that, we're going to go with probably might be one of the most popular authors out right now, and just released a book, and that would be John Gwyn. I've not read any of his books at all, and I thought about picking up Malice, and I can't remember the name of that. There was 4 books in that set. Can't remember it, but this is book 1 of the Bloodsworn saga. No, The Fury of the Gods just come out like last week or the week before. And I've got the first book and I've got the second one sitting over there. So I'm highly expecting this to be amazing. Everything that I've heard from other YouTubers say that there is nobody that writes battle scenes better than John Gwyn. So that sounds amazing. I am huge into characters and action. Like, I don't like books that you just sit around and talk forever and nothing happens. I guess my mind just can't. But it's got to have something going on. But super excited for this. I know I've heard so many good things about this series and the Malice and whatever the name of that series is. I don't know if it tells on here. No, it does not. But anyways, I know this is going to be good. It's just a matter of time before I get this started. And 2025 is looking very promising for this. Then we're down to the final 2. And most people will probably guess which 2 they are. But we're going to go with, of course, the man himself, the man that probably will never complete the series ever. But hey, that's okay. It's got an incredible TV show. The Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, the man himself, George R.R. Martin. This, I absolutely loved the show. The first, was it 5 or 6 seasons? I forgot what it was. But all of them were great, except for I didn't care for the ending. And I never even, like I said, I don't know nothing about the books. And which I know everyone that I'd seen online had talked about how terrible the ending was. And I personally didn't like how it ended. And I hadn't read these, obviously. So I'm thinking, even if you end with where the books end, it's probably still going to be better than the way they ended it on the TV show. So George R.R. Martin is high up on the list to definitely attempt to start and read. I've heard too many fantastic things. I mean, he's one of the most popular authors in the world. So this has to be started soon. And the final, the man, the myth, the legend himself, could be the most talked about, I wouldn't say most popular, but definitely in the horror genre, the most popular, I would say. And that is, of course, Stephen King. This is 11/22/63. I am not a horror fan at all. I don't like scary movies. I'm a chicken. Hey, that's okay. But I have this book. I have The Green Mile that one of my buddies, Kevin Toll Reed, sent me. And then I have Billy Summers, which I don't think all three of those are not horror novels. So this will let me dip my toe into Stephen King and see how I like him, which I think I'm going to love him. But I just want to make sure before I even attempt to do something like, because I am interested in like, what is it? Salem's Lot, and maybe, what's the Dome one? Under the Dome. I'm interested in those 2 because they don't seem like super scary. Nothing like It. Ugh. I remember watching that when I was a kid. I didn't watch it like I walked by like it was on TV. I remember the TV series. And my mom and dad were like, nope, I'm out. So who likes clowns anyways? Crazy. But Stephen King is definitely probably number 1 or number 2 on authors I want to definitely try out just to see if it's up my alley. And there's definitely a possibility it is, because obviously he writes way more than just, horror novels, and a lot of them are fantastic. But yeah, that's 11, and I had 10. So you can say Dan Simmons was an honorable mention. So do y'all have any authors that you've not read that you are interested in? Any of these? Maybe you can even tell me about them. Like whenever I get started, anyone want to read something with me or whatever, that's totally cool. I'd be more than happy. So if you would, please like the video. It helps the algorithm. And leave a comment on anything you would like if you've read any of these or if not. And subscribe to the channel, because that helps everything grow and more people to see. Y'all have a fantastic day. Bye.